How are you feeling today, Heather?
I feel great. I've got flowers in my office and the sun's shining in. I'm ready to talk more about branding.
That's awesome. Today, we're going to be talking about how good branding can actually reduce stress, not only for you as a business owner, but also for your customers and your clients.
That's really important. And I love the focus on well-being that you bring to this podcast and to our business. And so can you tell us a little bit about clarity and overwhelm?
Absolutely. One of the things that we talk about a lot on the health and wellness side is that if you feel overwhelmed or if you feel stress and that you can't manage, getting clarity is the easiest solution to that. Now, easy and simple are not the same thing. So, getting clarity is really important. How do you do that? Today, we're going to talk about three different things in your business that can help not only you get clarity, but also your clients to understand what you sell. The first and foremost is your messaging. How does your messaging look and how does it feel on social media?
Our brands create an emotional response, whether we realize it or not, whether we've invested in the graphics or not, whether we pay attention to how it looks or feels, it's going to create an emotional response. So, by understanding what that response is, you can, like Amin was saying, find clarity for yourself on what you're trying to offer, but also you get to have the opportunity to calm the nerves of the people who are overstimulated on all kinds of different social platforms now with your brand.
Exactly. For this episode, I want to actually refer to a brand that I really like. It's called Tensile. And have you heard of Tensile before, Heather?
I haven't.
Tensile is a really cool brand. And what they do is they sell tents that hang over the ground. And so you can essentially pitch your tent as long as there's some trees or posts nearby. You use these straps, they attach to three different trees, and your tent will actually hang over top of whatever it is that you're tenting over. Now, the reason I love this brand on Instagram is because all of their posts are of people using their products. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of professional photography in there, but it's a good mix of user generated pictures and also their own photography. And when you go to their feed, you'll notice one thing is that all of their pictures are very consistent and they have this very calming vibe about it. That's one thing that's really important because when you have a calm vibe on something like camping, which can be really exciting, can be really fun, but people will associate that experience with the pictures that they're seeing.
That really reminds me of that concept. Have you ever heard you don't buy a book to read it? You buy a book for the experience you want to have while you're reading it.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Because they're not showing pictures of boxes with, the tents on it. They're showing the actual end result and how the people using it feel. And that's the most important part is the feel.
That's really interesting. So when you're thinking about the kind of content you put out, you can think about how you want people to feel when they're engaging with it. Or if you have more of a knowledge-based business, you might think of how they want to feel while they're working or engaging with you.
Exactly. Now, the other thing we talk a lot about is that if you confuse, you lose. So if you have a brand and you're not very clear in the eyes of your customer, you will confuse them and you'll lose them. And one example of that is that sometimes brands tend to want to get clever or witty or fancy, and it doesn't always work.
Oh, well, there is one women-focused brand that I know of that has so many words in their pitches that it's so hard to understand, and the colors are so flashy, it makes it actually hard to read. And you want to make sure you don't have competing colors and that kind of thing, but also your words need to say what you're actually doing. Just because you have a really big flowery mission doesn't mean that your sales copy needs to be big and flowery.
Very true. And I think you can really break it down to one simple sentence is that we do X for Y so that Z. And that's the way that we've always helped our clients to grow is that we give them that simple framework of we do X for Y so that Z. So Heather, can you give us an example of either you can use our business, Remarkable Branding, or another with that framework?
Yeah, definitely. So we provide branding services to companies so that they can thrive.
Exactly. The only thing I might add in there is that to remarkable companies, because we really want to work with the best companies out there and help them grow, help them
Yeah.
thrive. I love that word thrive. So that's a
Yeah.
great idea. I know I put you on the spot there, but you did really
No,
well.
The other thing I like to think about is like A to B. Your clients are at A and they want to get to B. So you can speak to, we understand what it's like to be at A, and your path to getting to B might not be linear,
Mhm.
but we can help you get here. So it's speaking to hope, and to the customer's journey.
Thanks for that explanation, Heather. That was really clear. And I think that A to B analogy is really what people need to see, is that you can take your marketing, you can take your messaging and really simplify it, which will help reduce the overwhelm, which will help reduce the stress so that you can go from A to B.
So this wraps up our discussion on the history of branding. Thank you for coming along the ride with us. And we're really looking forward to starting our next discussion about the evolution of branding and how things have kind of evolved over time.
I'm really looking forward to that, and it's going to be awesome.